A long time ago, in a small, quiet village, there was a young girl named Amara. Amara was known all around for her kindness and beauty. Everyone in the village loved her because she was always smiling, polite, and ready to help. She spent her days helping her parents at home and greeting everyone she met. Amara's family wasn't rich, but they were happy, and that was enough for them. The village where Amara lived was peaceful. The people there worked hard every day. They grew their own food, cared for animals, and treated each other like family. Amara was special. Her warm smile and gentle heart made people feel happy and comfortable around her. Even the village elders often praised her for being so respectful and kind. The children in the village admired her and wanted to be like her when they grew up, but not everyone was happy for Amara. 3 girls in the village, Oda, Chacha, and Kamsi, didn't like her. These girls were often seen whispering and laughing together, and they were jealous of Amara. They didn't like how much attention she got from others. Even though Amara always tried to include them and be friendly, the 3 girls pretended to like her while secretly hating her. Over time, their jealousy grew stronger. They decided they needed to do something to stop Amara from being so popular. The 3 of them made a secret plan to get rid of her. They acted like they were her friends, but deep down, they had a dark plan in their hearts. One afternoon, as Amara was gathering firewood near her home, Oda, Chacha, and Kamsi came to see her. They greeted her with big smiles. Amara, Oda said excitedly, "Have you heard about the big festival coming up?" Amara smiled back and nodded. "Yes, I love the festival, but my parents think I should stay home this year." "Oh no, that's so sad," Chacha said, pouting. "We were hoping you would come with us." Kamsi nodded. "It won't be the same without you, Amara. Please come. We'll have so much fun together." Amara hesitated, holding the firewood tightly in her arms. She really wanted to go, but she didn't want to disobey her parents. A few days before the festival, Amara's parents started packing for a trip to visit relatives in another village. Before leaving, Amara's mother spoke to her. "Amara, my dear," her mother said gently, "not everyone who smiles at you is your friend. I've seen those 3 girls acting strangely around you. Please be careful." Amara smiled and shook her head. "Mama, they're just being nice. They mean no harm." Her mother sighed. "Maybe, but please don't go to the festival. It's in another village, and it's not safe to travel alone." Amara promised she would stay home. Her parents hugged her tightly and left, trusting that she would listen to them. The next morning, as Amara was sweeping the yard, Oda, Chacha, and Kamsi appeared again. "Amara, we've come to take you to the festival." Oda said. Amara shook her head. "I can't go. My parents told me to stay home." "Oh, don't worry about that," Chacha said, waving her hand. "We'll help you with your chores so you can finish quickly. Your parents will never know." Amara hesitated, looking at the broom in her hands. "I don't know. They said it's not safe." Kamsi smiled warmly. "We'll be with you the whole time, Amara. Trust us." Their kind words made Amara feel better. She thought about how exciting it would be to go to the festival with friends. "Okay," Amara said, "but we must finish my chores first." The girls helped her with the chores, pretending to be her friends. By the time they finished, Amara felt grateful and trusted them completely. The 4 of them set off toward the neighboring village. As they walked, Amara felt happy and free. She had never left her own village before, so this felt like an adventure. After a while, they reached a large, quiet river. The water was still and dark, and the place felt strange. The girls crossed the river carefully, stepping on the rocks, but they didn't tell Amara about the river's rule. The rule was that anyone who crossed the river had to leave food as an offering to a mermaid on the way back. If they didn't, the mermaid would pull them into the water forever. The girls knew this rule but kept it a secret. Amara followed them, carefully balancing on the rocks. She had no idea about the danger. When they reached the festival, Amara's eyes lit up. The place was colorful and full of life. There was music, dancing, and all kinds of delicious food. Amara had never seen anything like it before. As the day went on, many people noticed Amara. They admired her beauty and kindness, and some young men even tried to talk to her. One boy, Kai, introduced himself and spent the day showing her around. Oda, Chocho, and Kamsi grew jealous. They had brought Amara here to get rid of her, but now everyone was paying attention to her instead of them. When it was time to go home, the girls reached the river again. Each of them secretly brought food for the mermaid, but they didn't tell Amara. As they crossed, Amara realized she had no offering. "Can I have some food?" Amara asked nervously. The girl smirked. "Sorry, we only have enough for ourselves," others said. Amara begged, but they refused to help her. The girls crossed the river, leaving Amara alone. Suddenly, the water rippled, and the mermaid appeared. "You dare to cross my river without an offering?" The mermaid hissed. Amara begged for forgiveness, but the mermaid didn't listen. She grabbed Amara and pulled her into the water. The last thing Amara saw was the river closing over her. The three girls returned to their village, proud of their plan. But soon, Amara's parents came home and started searching for her. Amara's mother was in a panic. She searched all over the village, asking if anyone had seen her daughter. Finally, she found Oda, Chacha, and Kamsi near the village square, talking quietly. "Girls." Amara's mother called out, her voice filled with worry. "You were with Amara at the festival, weren't you? Where is she? Why hasn't she come home?" The girls exchanged quick glances, then put on serious, worried faces. Oda stepped forward and said cautiously, "Yes, we were with her. But after a while, she wandered off. We thought she was right behind us." Chocho nodded, adding, "We thought she stayed behind to enjoy the festival. She looked like she was having fun." Kamsi added, "We assumed she'd come home on her own. She didn't seem upset." Amara's mother looked heartbroken. Tears filled her eyes. "Amara wouldn't wander off alone," she said softly. "Not without telling us." The villagers gathered, whispering among themselves. Everyone loved Amara and was shocked by the news. The thought of her being lost or in danger filled the village with sadness. An elderly woman spoke up. "Could something have happened by the river? That place has always had strange stories tied to it." Another villager nodded gravely. "The river is dangerous. Some say mystical forces live there and take people." Amara's parents were distraught. Her father tried to comfort her mother, wrapping his arms around her. "She'll come back," he said firmly. "Amara is smart. She'll find her way home." But days passed, and Amara didn't return. Her mother became pale and weak from sleepless nights spent worrying. She often sat outside their house, staring at the road, hoping to see Amara's bright smile again. Every night ended in sorrow. The villagers prayed for Amara's safe return. They lit candles in her memory. Some believed she had an accident, while others feared mystical forces had taken her. Oda, Chacha, and Kamsi pretended to share the village's grief. They joined search parties, comforted Amara's parents, and spoke kindly about her. But secretly, they were happy. Without Amara, The young men in the village now paid attention to them. However, rumors and whispers spread. The girls started feeling nervous. They decided to go back to the river to make sure no evidence of their actions remained. When they reached the riverbank, they scanned the area nervously. Suddenly, they heard a soft sound. They looked up and saw a small parrot perched on a tree branch, singing a sad song. The song stopped them in their tracks. They froze as they listened, their faces turning pale. The parrot's song described what had happened to Amara. It sang about the girls leading her across the river, not telling her about the mermaid's rule, and refusing to help her when she begged for food. The girls were horrified. If anyone heard the bird's song, their secret would be revealed. Panicking, they grabbed stones and began throwing them at the parrot, desperate to silence it. The bird tried to fly away, but one of the stones struck it. The parrot fell silent, disappearing into the shadows of the trees. Relieved, the girls thought their secret was safe again. Days later, as Amara's parents were returning home from another day of searching, they heard a faint chirping sound. Looking around, they spotted a small parrot in the bushes. The bird looked injured, struggling to stay upright. Amara's parents knelt down to help it. To their amazement, the bird began to sing. Its voice was weak, but its song told the truth about what had happened. The parrot sang about how Oda, Chacha, and Kamsi had tricked Amara. It told them how they had crossed the river, knowing about the mermaid's rule, and left Amara without food. It described how Amara had begged for their help, only to be abandoned and taken by the mermaid. Amara's mother wept as she imagined her daughter's fear and helplessness. Her father clenched his fist, overwhelmed by anger and grief. The parrot continued, its voice trembling. Amara is under the river, taken by the mermaid because of those girls' cruelty. But there may still be a way to save her. Follow me to the river, if you're brave enough. Amara's parents looked at each other, their sadness turning into determination. They would do whatever it took to save their daughter. With the injured parrot leading the way, they walked to the river. The journey was long and silent, their hearts heavy with fear and hope. When they reached the riverbank, they called out, "O great mermaid of the river! Please return our daughter to us. She is our only child, and we cannot live without her." At first, the river was silent. Then ripples appeared on the surface, and a figure emerged. The mermaid rose from the water, her hair flowing like dark currents. Standing silently beside her was Amara, dressed in simple clothes. She looked tired and sad, her once bright spirit dimmed. "Your daughter belongs to me now," the mermaid said coldly. "She crossed my waters without an offering. She must serve me. That is the law." Amara's parents fell to their knees, pleading, "Please, have mercy. She is our only child. We cannot bear this loss." The mermaid's gaze softened slightly. After a moment, she said, "If you want her back, you must prove your love. Cross this river without a bridge, boat, or any help. If you succeed, she will be free. If you fail, you will stay here and serve me, just like she does." Amara's parents looked at each other in fear, but they were ready to try. Holding hands, they stepped into the cold, deep water. Word of their challenge spread quickly, and the villagers gathered at the river to watch. Some called out encouragement. "Stay strong. Your love will guide you." Meanwhile, Oda, Chacha, and Kamsi realized their secret was out. They panicked and fled into the forest. But as they ran deeper into the trees, they became lost and frightened. Shadows surrounded them, and the forest felt like a trap. In their fear, they began blaming Amara. "If it weren't for her, we wouldn't be in this mess." Ada snapped, "She ruined everything," Chacha muttered bitterly. Back at the river, Amora's parents struggled against the current. The water was freezing and strong, but they held on to each other and kept moving. Just when it seemed they couldn't go any further, a sudden wind swept across the river. It wrapped around them like a protective force, steadying their steps and guiding them forward. The villagers gasped, realizing they were witnessing a miracle. With the wind's help, Amora's parents reached the other side. The mermaid watched silently, then nodded in approval. "Your love is true," she said. "I will release your daughter." She waved her hand, and Amara was free. Tears streamed down Amora's face as she ran into her parents' arms. The villagers cheered as the family reunited. The next day, the king summoned Oda, Chocho, and Kamsi to face judgment. He was furious. "You betrayed Amora and this entire village. Your jealousy and cruelty caused great suffering. You will be banished and never allowed to return." The girls were led through the village in shame. The villagers looked at them with disappointment, shaking their heads. The girls had lost everything and knew they had only themselves to blame. Meanwhile, the village celebrated Amora's return. They held a grand feast, filled with laughter and music. Everyone came together to honor the power of love and unity. At the celebration, a young man approached Amora. It was Prince Kai, the kind man she had met at the festival. "Amora," he said softly, smiling. "I've thought of you every day since we met. Your courage and kindness inspire me. Will you marry me?" Amora blushed and nodded. "Yes," she whispered. The village held a grand wedding for them. It was a joyful day, filled with love and hope. Together, Amora and Prince Kai lived happily ever after, their hearts full of gratitude for the love that had guided them through darkness. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this story. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up and let me know your favorite part in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more amazing stories. See you in the next story.